those incentives help you get in, but they also lower the resale value, in theory, that same amount.
Right.
And so if you went for this car, which had already taken a big depreciation hit, this was almost a $60,000 car when new, especially with FSD and all the other stuff on it.
Right.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to another Out of Spec Reviews video. You joined me in Tallahassee, Florida at, of course, a Starbucks just over here, where I'm meeting up with my good friend Dominic Ioni, who has just purchased this Tesla Model 3 long-range rear-wheel drive. I actually think this is the best Model 3 variant to ever go on sale. I used to own a 2018 long-range rear-wheel drive, and what we're going to be doing in this video is taking it for a drive and evaluating it and see if Dominic made the right purchase. I also want to make the announcement that Dominic is now on YouTube. Drive Electric with Dominic. He'll be documenting his experiences with this electric car, as well as others that he'll be testing and experiencing. So I'll leave the link in the description and the pinned comment so you can follow along. And here it is. My friend Dominic Ioni owns this car. He and I do a podcast every Friday morning called the Inside EVs Podcast. And he had been looking for a used car for some time, and we were looking at maybe even a new Chevy Bolt or, I don't know, this really seemed like a better purchase to me. So I encouraged him to look at used Teslas, and I actually found this car in Ohio on an online website and suggested, hey, Dominic, you should get this one. And that's exactly what he did. And so far, I have to say, it's looking really nice. This was actually the least expensive long-range rear-wheel drive, or I should say just long-range in general, Tesla for sale in the entire country. And it came with FSD. And I should make an asterisk. It was the cheapest one with under, I want to say 70 or 80,000 miles, something like that. No accident history, car is clean. And it only had 40,000 miles on it and came with FSD included. The original owner purchased it when they bought this car. Few little modifications. There's some carbon fiber wrap. There were some things to indicate that maybe an enthusiast owned the car. The charge limit was set low. You can see just a nice little wrap here. So we know whoever owned this car probably took good care of it. That's just my impression all around. You can see you get the glass canopy. Early Model 3s used USB-A instead of USB-C, just like my Model 3 is the same way. But the shut lines, the body lines, it's really not looking too bad here. So what do you say we jump in this thing? We've driven Model 3 long-range rear-wheel drive on this channel, actually maybe never on this channel, on Out of Spec Motoring, back when that was our only channel when I used to own one of these. And, I really love the way these things drive. You get the bigger battery, about 75-ish kilowatt hours. It doesn't have the new big Model 3 battery, but it's still good. Still charges at 250 kilowatts. Very efficient with the rear wheel drive, although Dominic drives pretty hard, so he's telling me it's not as efficient as I may have let on. But let's see how it's actually doing. And generally just go and experience this thing as a used Model 3, talk about the purchase experience. So let's do it. Well, welcome to the inside of the Model 3. I'm with Dominic and Kay. Hey guys.
Hey.
Well, thanks for letting me drive your car.
Thank you.
So tell us about Dude.
Dude is Drive Electric with Dominic. That's the acronym, I guess. It's my new YouTube channel, which I created to help me pay for this thing.
That's right.
Maybe that's the stupidest plan ever, but
it should work.
That's the plan. And yeah, but
so let's go for a drive. You can see you have all of your visualizations. This car, like I mentioned, has FSD.
It does.
FSD beta looks like engaged, and we'll have a separate video on your personal channel,
yes,
on Dude, trying out FSD beta for the first time.
Yes. So I just activated this yesterday.
Okay.
I mean, I've had it for like a month now, and just been using the regular autopilot from time to time, waiting to do a special video. And then you said you're showing up, and so, well, that's the perfect time to do a special video.
Right, perfect time to try and kill me with FSD beta.
That's right.
So, yeah, I mean, we're just going to go out, drive around, no particular roads. I know you said you wanted to turn right here. Well, we couldn't do anything else. So let's see how it feels normally. I mean, overall, Model 3, what do you want me to do?
Left lane.
Okay.
And we'll turn to left at the first light. Okay,
we can do that. So, Model 3 rear-wheel drive, what was the EPA range of this car rated when new? Do you remember?
I do
was
not.
It 310, 315, somewhere around there? I think it was 310.
It was up there, which it seems like pretty high for what I was getting.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
so I haven't done the complete 70-mile-an-hour highway range test yet. That's coming up.
Right. Well, I'm curious to see how your battery health is looking, because at 85%, you're showing 238 miles on the displayed range here, the rated range. If I go to your car, it's a Model 3 long range.
Right.
It's a 2018 model, 45,082 miles on it. And nothing here would indicate that the car feels old to me other than just the greasy steering wheel. So other than that, it feels pretty good. In terms of power and performance, feels just like a Model 3 rear-wheel drive should. Just nice, strong, sustained power, as you would expect. Do a little brake test.
Sure.
Everyone holding on?
Yeah.
Okay. So, ABS working great. Brakes feel strong. You can smell them a little bit. But yeah, I mean, like the bones feel good. The thing feels nicely screwed together.
Right.
No squeaks or rattles like my Model 3. It feels way better than that.
Yes.
That car, as you know, because you just had it for, I don't know,
8,000 miles.
8,000 miles, was a rattle trap.
Yeah, that was before you swapped the suspension, though.
Sure, so the new suspension, but even like interior components, like the rear seat clips are creaky in that car, and like just doesn't feel that good.
Right.
This really feels good. And what's funny about not having the front motor in these, and I've driven them back to back plenty of times and made videos about this, they actually turn in a bit better than the all-wheel drive cars.
Notice that.
Yeah. So you've really noticed the lack of, I don't know, 200 pounds up front or something. It just loves to get into corners.
Yes, very much so.
The other thing is early Model 3s were on stiffer suspension than newer ones.
Okay.
So it rides probably a bit firmer. We haven't hit any major bumps.
Yeah, it's pretty firm. Yeah.
Right. And I remember you saying that too.
Yeah.
And I was like thinking about it, and then I remembered, early Model 3 had stiff suspension, and I believe they offered a free retrofit to softer suspension.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in period. I don't know if they still would do it, but I think that was the thing. You could change out either the spring or the damper, I forget which.
Okay.
And Tesla would upgrade you to the comfort suspension. This was like very early days of Model 3.
Right.
I kind of like the stiffer suspension personally. I think it handles better, and there's no major twisty roads here in Tallahassee. You got to go north to the North Georgia mountains or something to find some good driving roads.
Yeah, or down to the coast. There's a nice road down there.
Oh, good.
There's the odd, country road here and there. Actually, this is kind of nice in places when you get out in the country, but.
Yep. Yeah, no, this is beautiful around here. It kind of actually reminds me of Raleigh, North Carolina in places where I used to live. It's a beautiful city. It's very nice.
Yeah.
So what should we say about Model 3? I mean, it does the long-range rear-wheel drive variant. And so why did you end up going with this particular configuration? Because there's been a bunch. There's been, standard range plus,
right,
mid-range, long range, all-wheel drive, stealth performance, and I'm sure I missed one somewhere.
Right.
What made you choose this configuration?
Well, I mean, a lot of it has to do with range and budget and power, really, to be frank, because standards are a little bit more affordable, generally, but I kind of, long range is so nice, and then if you go standard, you get less power as well. Our friendly neighborhood sheriff.
Right, I see that. I was about to do some skids around here.
I know. Traffic circle.
Straight on.
Yeah.
Big bump.
Big bump.
Really nice, though. It's pretty straight. It feels good, and you can hear the motor. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah, you can hear the motor is definitely audible.
Motor sounds great.
Yeah.
And if you take the rear seat out, it'll sound even better. So this configuration. Sorry.
Right. No, that's all right. So we just, it was what was available for one thing. Just trying to find something in the right budget area, and going with rear-wheel drive really helped that consideration. Would have been nice to have all-wheel drive just for the extra power, but it's pretty quick. It's pretty fun. It's nice, and then, like you said, without the motor on the front wheels, it kind of turns in noticeably nicer. It's really interesting actually to throw it in the turns. It's a little different from all-wheel drive for sure.
I totally agree. And, we were looking because it's been a long thing on the Inside EVs podcast.
Right. This is a whole ordeal of months and months.
You had your Spark EV.
That's right.
And then it was, the market was so strong, you decided to dump that, and you were driving your old, was it a Ranger that you have?
1988 Ford Ranger STX.
Yeah, which is a cool truck. So and very desirable. What's funny is I see so many people comment that they want to buy it off you.
Right.
There you go.
Feel free. It's 30 grand.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I would sell it for
That
30 grand.
would help pay for the car.
Right. And, you know, overall, I think, you know, you went from the Spark. It was time to get another electric car.
Yeah.
The Bolt was a real consideration.
Right.
And I
almost bought a Bolt. It was so close.
You were like a day away from
I was
buying
about
a
a day
Bolt.
away from buying a Bolt.
And we all just wanted you to buy something. We were all getting frustrated that this has gone on for 6 months and you couldn't buy a car. So finally, I was like, I gave you a call and I was like, Dominic, here are your choices. You can go for a new Bolt or you can go for a more expensive used Model 3.
Right.
And we actually worked the numbers and some spreadsheet magic that this was the cheaper vehicle to own than the Bolt because
Right.
of resale value was the big component.
Yeah.
They're going to sell a ton of Bolts at, you know, 18 grand after tax credits, whatever it's going to be,
Right.
or 20 grand after tax credits. They're going to be worth 10 grand in just a couple of years, especially if the economy goes.
Right. Those
going.
incentives, those take a big chunk out of your resale value when when they come into the market like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those incentives help you get in, but they also lower the resale value, in theory, that same amount.
Right.
And so if you went for this car, which had already taken a big depreciation hit, this was almost a $60,000 car when new, especially with FSD and all the other stuff on it.
Right.
You know, you were able to buy this car. What did you spend roughly for it?
I think it was 31.9 before the tax and title and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
amazing deal. So like 33, 34 out the door, something like that.
35.
35. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're in a long range rear wheel drive with FSD for 35 grand.
Right. Right.
Which is, you know,
Right.
that's
Well, the
pretty
dealers
amazing.
didn't really understand the FSD thing.
They didn't know at all.
They had no idea what that was.
So you got lucky because they
Lucky, yeah.
valued the car to have it without FSD, basically.
That's right.
And
FSD, I think it would be, boost the value about $3,000. I'm thinking
In the used market?
In the used market, yeah,
totally. And if anything, I think it just makes the car stand out against others,
it's true.
especially with so many Model 3s out there. You know, if you needed to get out of this car and into something else,
Right.
having FSD is certainly a selling point, especially with the beta software on now and all this talk of, maybe improved logic. We'll see in your video if it's gotten any better since the last time I used it. But, I think you settled on a pretty good choice. And we were actually looking, coming into a little bit of long range all-wheel drive was kind of not too far out of the budget.
Yeah, no, it's just a matter of finding the right deal, really,
Right.
Yeah.
But this one just kind of fit the bill, was a clean car, it had the mileage you were looking for, 40-something thousand miles. I was kind of telling you not to worry about the miles, but
Right.
you were worried about
I'm
the
kind
miles.
of worried about the miles. Like, the miles take a toll eventually. Like if you notice, there's like some issues with the paint.
Yeah,
Especially
sure.
on the very front. There's like little chips. So,
That just happens.
right. But
Yeah.
so that happens less with fewer miles and less chips.
I think it's
generally.
more like how someone drives. If you're a
That's true.
tailgater for
True.
100,000 miles, your paint will be gone.
Right.
But if you leave a lot of space, maybe not so much.
Well, this was up in Illinois, I guess, too, right? So
Right. I'm just going to kind of meander through these neighborhoods here, and then I'm not sure if these are the neighborhoods we should be meandering through.
they're not.
Okay. Well, we'll go back when you start seeing bars everywhere.
No, yeah.
No, that's okay. We'll go back on that. That road was pretty good. And, I think overall you really settled on a pretty good platform here. No creaks, even going lock
We
to
go
lock on
straight.
the wheel. We'll go straight
Yeah.
through. That sounds good. Yeah, so I mean, drive's great. It's got the power. Suspension's definitely firm, but not unlivable.
Right.
And overall, I think you really got yourself a solid vehicle here. There is one problem, though, which is your charge situation.
Right.
Your AC charger has limited performance.
That's true. So there's a thing in the back called what they call PCS.
I believe it's, PCS board or something like this.
Yeah,
Yes.
right. Something system, power conversion system.
Yeah, something.
Right, and that sits in the penthouse of the battery.
Mhm.
So, but it's not included as part of the battery warranty,
Right, which seems a bit fishy.
which sucks.
Right.
Because they have to take the battery out. And if the battery was gone, because the battery is still under warranty, if the battery were kaput, they would swap the whole thing. They
Well,
wouldn't take out the
Time
PCS.
to fry the battery. Supercharge it to 100% every day.
Right? Yeah.
So, I mean, that's going to be an interesting one to see unfold, and perhaps we can do a story on it and help with that or something
Right,
like
I was
that.
going to look into maybe aftermarket solutions because there's a few aftermarket Tesla shops now, right?
The Electrified Garage is not far from here,
Right.
only a couple hours.
Right.
And so
Was
that
it-
would be great to go visit them.
Possibly, yes.
Yeah, so I think that could be a really neat situation. And yeah, perhaps if they're watching this video, they could reach out to Dominic and set something up. But look, I think for the money, the long-range rear-wheel drive variant is by far crazy efficient, in my opinion. Maybe not so much in yours. I mean, yeah, they got to stop, so everyone's going to stop, and we're not going to die, so that's good. It's got more than enough power. I mean, the performance on this is strong.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. It's like way nicer than, you know, your everyday Honda.
It's faster than a
Subaru.
Bolt would be, and the power goes to the correct wheels.
It is, yes, that is a big consideration. That's one thing I really didn't like about the Bolt, because the new Bolts, the new gen, they're pretty nice inside.
Yeah.
But it's just that, you know, when you just the front wheel drive thing, it just doesn't feel great.
All right, well, let's send it out onto the roads.
Oh, there's a little bit of chirping. Oh, you got the slip start on. Okay.
Yeah, that's how you have to drive rear-wheel drives, or just pull a wheel speed sensor and do massive skids.
Right.
So, congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
And congratulations on now officially being a YouTuber.
Right.
Kay, what do you think about all of this?
Oh, I think it's great. I was all about the Tesla when he was having his crisis about the car situation, and
So you were Team Tesla as
I
well.
was Team Tesla.
Ah,
Yeah.
very good.
Oh, just so people will know, that Kay is my musical partner. So we play in a band together called Firefly Rebellion. It's kind of new, and we're growing that. Just
Also a YouTube channel.
Also a
Right.
YouTube channel. Yeah.
Right.
I subscribe.
There's a few songs on there if you want, if you're curious. Yeah. So just to give you some context.
Yeah, very good. And yeah, Kay, I think you'll have to take Dominic for some rides in his car sometime and scare him a little bit.
Yeah,
And do some big skids and sends.
I would love to.
Yeah. Well, she's going to get something soon too.
Oh,
I think.
really?
We're going to do a little video to see whether so she plays a 3/4 size upright bass. So we need to see if it'll fit in the back of.
Will it fit
whatever.
in this?
I don't know.
I don't
Okay,
No.
that'll be a good video then.
She has a juke right now, and
Oh,
it
sure.
fits, but all the way up to the dash, and then there's a
I
whole.
can't take anyone else in the car with me because
Sure.
the base takes up the entire car. I have to
Basically.
lean the passenger seat back, and it's this big ordeal to get it in there.
Yeah.
And I kind of need something a little bit bigger.
Well, that's where like a Bolt might work with a big hatchback and EUV
Or the
perhaps.
EUV possibly.
Yeah, and what's funny is the EUV has a listed smaller capacity storage than the regular Bolt.
Right.
But it just has to do with the way they measured it. It's actually bigger.
Okay.
But the SAE standards for measuring interior cargo volume make the EUV have a smaller number.
Oh, okay. I just assume if you put the rear seats down, it's going to be bigger for sure. It's going to
It
be
is.
an extra 3 inches of
Yeah, it's
wheelbase?
something like that. It might be even more, 5 to 7, and it all goes to rear seat room if I remember correctly.
Right. It's all behind the rear, all
Yep.
behind the front seats. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, things seems great. Keep an eye on Dominic's channel for our FSD experience, which we're about to do now. And can't thank you enough for letting me drive your car and feeling it. And it really, honestly, truly feels solid. I think you got a good one.
What did you think about the efficiency? Because that was the thing, right?
Let's take a look. 274 watt-hour per mile. The way I've been driving it, 259. I mean, it seems reasonable. We've been driving it pretty hard.
Right.
I mean, there's a couple things you got going for you. You're not on OE tires.
Right.
So your tires are not electric adapted, things
Right.
like that. You also have the 19-inch sport wheels versus the Arrows.
True.
And that makes, honestly, a pretty big difference.
Right.
And so I think you also probably drive at 75, 80, 85 miles an hour down the highway, where if you're really trying to get under that, 280 watt-hour per mile, you got to be under that.
Right. Yeah. In town, I tend to speed away from stoplights a little bit.
Yeah, sure. But even over the last 30 miles, average range, it's 270 watt-hour per mile.
Oh, that's not bad.
Seems really good.
Actually, that's not
Yeah.
bad. I was thinking it was 300 for some reason.
Well, if you take a lot of short trips, that first hit will always, to the right here, that first hit on short trips will always, impact your numbers quite a bit.
Right.
So you got to get the fluids going through and all that good stuff. So there we go. Thanks for watching another Out of Spec Reviews video. Thank you, Dominic. Thank you, Kay. And we'll see you all on another one soon. Bye-bye.
Ciao.